Today, I'm showing you how to build a patient intake form like this for free using AI. So I'll be running you through two methods. The first one is just starting from scratch, so you have an idea of what you want to ask, or you need a patient intake form, but you don't have anything digitally set up yet. The second option is if you already have something in Google Forms, but you want to tweak it. So it might be the look and feel of your form, it might be conditional logic or more advanced features. It's important to note that these methods aren't HIPAA compliant. So if you are in the case where you need to be HIPAA compliant, you won't be able to use this method. But for a lot of practitioners, this is actually not necessary. So basically, if you're not in a clinical setting or if you don't bill insurances. So let's dive into the first method. We'll be using a tool called Weavly.ai, which is completely for free and which has dedicated support for patient intakes. So if you go to product and then you go to free AI mini tools, you can just either browse through what they offer, or you can type in patients and you'll see this AI patient intake form generator. So basically how this works is you have a prompt where you can describe your practice, or you can describe what you want from your patient intake form, or you can use one of the example prompts. So this is what we'll do in this tutorial. So of course, as always with AI, the more detailed you are, the better the output is going to be. So here it's a therapy intake form. We want to ask for medication, emergency contact, of course a consent for the treatment, etc. So once you're happy with your prompt, you can just press generate, and Weavly is going to build you a working form based on what you need. So this is our draft form. So we see it generated some contact information details. There's multiple pages, so you can go through the pages with these arrows here at the bottom. So the needs of your patient, some important information, and then a thank you screen for completing. So you can tweak this by hand. So you could change your questions, for example, by just typing in. Of course, you can also just ask the AI to add questions, to change questions. You can change the theme of your form, etc. So let's go ahead and hit the publish button. And this gives us a URL that we can share with our patients. So for example, it might be in an email, but you also have a QR code. So if you're in a waiting room, for example, you want to hang this there so that people can already fill it in. That's possible. You can also just, of course, embed it on your website. So let's fill in some of the details here. We won't go through the entire form, but just so that we can see what the details and the answers look like. So we'll just fill in some dummy data right here. Emergency contact, we'll leave this here. And of course we do consent because that's very important. And we hit press submit button. So all of that data will be stored in the results. So you can see the results right here. I can just have a look at individual results as well if I want to. And of course I can download these as a CSV, or I can download these as a PDF, and then I get an overview of all of the answers of my specific patient. Now, you might say, yeah, but I already use Google Sheets, for example. I already have other tools to manage all of this data. So there's a whole bunch of different integrations. You can send your data to Google Sheet, but you can also automate this further using tools like Make or Zapier if you want to. And of course, there's a whole bunch of different settings. I'm not going to run you through every detail, but if you want to have confirmation emails sent to the patient whenever they fill it in, that's possible. When you want you to get notified whenever somebody submits the email, submits the form, that's also possible. So this is the first method, so starting from scratch. Now let's dive into the second method, namely importing from Google Forms. So for this, we're going to head on over back to Weavly.ai and we're going to press start for free. So this will lead us to the Weavly editor where we can actually import a Google form. You'll need to set up your Google account first. So it's just a single sign-on process. And then once you're in there, you can paste the Google Forms editor URL and it would import that into Weavly.ai, after which you can enhance it. So in our example, we have a standard party invite. We will use the Google Forms URL. So that's the one that is at the top of the bar, right? So not the one that you use to actually get responses to your Google form, but the one at the top of your browser navigation. So you go ahead and copy paste that one and then simply enter it into Weavly.ai. And then when you press import, it's going to import all of the questions that you had from your Google form, after which you can start tailoring and customizing it. So for example, we could say, make the form visual something party-like. So you could either change the questions that you have, or you could change the theme with AI as well. So as you can see, it came up with something a lot more colorful and it added some balloons at the top of our form. So it actually looks more like a party invite. And we could then use all of the power of Weavy, so we could add conditional logic, so only showing a specific question if somebody typed in a specific answer, that sort of stuff. There's plenty of other tutorials on this channel about what you can all do with Weavly.ai.